Representative Tina Orwall with the 33rd District. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
You enjoying the sunshine?
Absolutely, it's great.
Very nice. So this week is fiscal cutoff. How have your bills fared?
Most of them have done quite well. Most are actually already through the fiscal committees and in rules. Not all of them made it. The wrongly convicted bill did not get a hearing in the fiscal committee, and so unfortunately that will not be moving forward this year. But my other bills will be at this point.
Please talk to us about the commercial sex trade bill that you have.
Yes, well, unfortunately CTAC, which is in my district, has the highest rate of child trafficking in the United States. So what we're trying to do with this bill is take on a much more global approach to really say this is unacceptable in our community, and also to give law enforcement the tools they need to effectively take this on. So the bill does two things. It increases the fines.
How much?
But at this point, it was a $150 fine for someone trying to purchase commercial sex, and it's going up to $1,500 for the first offense, $2,500 for the second offense, and $3,500 for the third offense. And they're also mandated to John School.
What is that?
That is training that the police officers do for people who are arrested the first time for buying commercial sex. They go to an all-day training where they learn about sexual transmitted diseases. They learn about the dangers of buying this commercial sex. And they also hear from the women. The women tell their stories. You know, a lot of these women were abused as kids. They have horrific trauma, and so they get to hear that's not a victimless crime and the impact it can have on their families. And the Tacoma John School has had this huge effect. They have very few reoffenders who go through this program, and we want to expand that throughout the state.
There's another requirement in your bill about publishing pictures of the offenders.
Right. What they have found with the fines, even as low as they've been, often they're not paid. So one, it's extremely important that that money be paid to help law enforcement and that people actually attend the John School. So if they do not do those two things, they will get their picture in the paper, in the local paper actually, as a deterrent. What they find is 50% of people who purchase sex actually are married with families. And so we think that's a huge deterrent. People don't want their neighbors to know. They don't want obviously their spouse to know. And so this really is a deterrent so they can get help as well.
And they are also responsible for paying for publishing in the paper.
They do. They pay for that, and that will all be run through the law enforcement. There's strong support in my area. This is one of their top priorities, and I really think it's going to help them expand stings, expand the John School, and really help these young women off the streets.
And this bill is on its way to the floor, I understand.
It is. I hope it will be heard on the floor later this week.
Good. Talk to us about the suicide prevention bill. How's that going?
That one's also in rules. It's a little different than when I first introduced it. Before, it was to require training in the area of suicide assessment, treatment, and management for people in the mental health system. And we've expanded to include primary care. And why that's so important is they've found that 80% of people who complete suicide saw a primary care doctor the month before. And so we need to make sure all our professionals really have this background and training so they know the best practices, so they know where to refer people, because suicide is often preventable. We need all those professionals to be trained on how to help people.
All right. Well, thank you for the update.
Yes.
And wishing you luck for the floor this week, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good. Thank you.